Jacobi Medallion was established decades ago to honor those who really are special. We're honoring researchers who've made a real difference in their scientific world. We're honoring teachers who, in the eyes of students, will never be forgotten. And we're honoring leaders who have given medicine a new path. This year's recipients epitomize the essence, the spirit, the values, the core of what is the best Mount Sinai has to offer.
I've been at Mount Sinai for over 25 years now. My idea of what doctoring was changed as I matured. Mount Sinai has helped me in my formative years, informed me about the kind of doctor I wanted to be. Then I began to realize there's more to medicine than just caring for one patient. You begin to care for communities, and that's what Sinai taught me.
Lou DiPaolo, simply put, one of the best pulmonary doctors in New York City, in our region, in the United States. Under his leadership, we are becoming one of the most sought after sites for treating pulmonary disease in the United States.
Pulmonary medicine, it's more than a study of the lungs, respiratory diseases. There's a big footprint in occupational exposures, and in this city, there are many, many patients who are suffering from respiratory diseases as a result of the 9/11 disaster. We're in the center of ground zero for asthma, smoking, tobacco, the social problems associated with that.
Louis is playing an instrumental role in helping to build the Respiratory Institute at Mount Sinai, a center that at its core will provide care for the millions of Americans who suffer from the most severe forms of lung disease.
We're really changing the paradigm for healthcare delivery of at least in respiratory diseases here in New York City. A lot of your power as a person is taken away when you're a patient. I think part of my job is to transfer back some of the power to the patient, sitting down with them, looking them in the eye, holding their hands, to tell them they got a partner.
When you watch Lou interact with patients, you learn. You learn what a real clinician is about. You see how someone actually listens with attention, caring, processing what the patient has to say.
As an educator, what I hope to impart is there's a lot of knowledge. We teach our young docs how to access that knowledge. What's not easily taught is be able to have a compassion with your patient. How would you want to be spoken to? How would you want to be treated? Because there's a story on the other side of that.
We're lucky to have him here at Sinai because he exemplifies what we all want to have when we go to the doctor.
You're only as tall as the shoulders that you stand on, and at this institution I stand on many tall shoulders. When I heard that I was getting the Jacobi Medallion, my mentors, or many of the people on the list, to be thought of in the same breath was almost overwhelming. I also see it as a responsibility, that there was this long line of educators and researchers and mentors, and now that my name is attached to the Jacobi Medallion, I have an obligation to uphold that. Mount Sinai does feel like my home. It's not just where I work, it's where my friends are, it's where my heart is, so it is home, absolutely.
Medicine has always been part of my fiber. Whether it was my parents who were both physicians, their parents who were physicians, I grew up hearing stories at the dinner table of the challenges, the joys of being a physician, and this really struck a chord with me. The trust that they engendered in their patients was very important in the healing process. That I wanted to emulate.
Celia Divino, graduate of our residency programs in surgery in 1997. Unparalleled, unrivaled as a great surgeon and a great educator. Celia sets the bar high because she wants her students and her trainees to stand on her shoulders and become great surgeons, great doctors that care enormously about the lives of our patients.
Technical skills can be taught. What you can't teach is what comes from here. And that's what the patients feel. Especially with a surgeon, it's a life-changing event. They need to have that comfort level that you are truly an advocate for them.
I think Celia Divino has really shaped an entire generation of Mount Sinai trained surgeons.
She's been responsible for growing and developing our residency program from a great program, a program that people respected and considered one of the top programs in the country, to being the top program in the country.
I need a fire in their belly, because when you have a passion for what you do, it bleeds into everything you do. I really feel a sense of pride in having equipped them not only with the skills in the operating room, but the skills to make contributions to society.
She came to Mount Sinai to be interviewed for the surgical residency during my chairmanship in the fall of 1991. And at the end of the day, those of us who saw her recognized that this was a rising star, and we were just very fortunate that she chose us.
Mount Sinai provided me with the opportunity to pursue my passion for medicine, surgery in particular, and do what I do best.
I think the Jacobi Medallion honors Mount Sinai's finest, and I can't think of a more deserving person than her to exemplify what Sinai should be proud of.
It is really overwhelming for me to know that what I've done is actually noticed, is actually appreciated, and is of some value, especially in a place that I have really considered home.
I'm going to read a poem by W.S. Merwin called Neither Here Nor There. I start every day when I round with the residents, I start by reading a poem to them. I like to bring in a little bit of the rest of the world into the neonatal unit to remind people that although they're technicians and doctors, they're also humans, and poetry speaks to our humanity. And I wanted them to put a little bit of that into their daily life.
Under Ian Holtzman's leadership, we now have one of the best neonatal units in the United States. It's a beautiful facility, and it provides literally the best care that you can possibly get for babies that have been born premature. Without Ian Holtzman's leadership, the development of this fantastic new unit would not have been possible.
Neonatology is the subspecialty of pediatrics that's involved with the care of newborn babies. I was recruited from Pittsburgh to redo the whole newborn intensive care program. My dream when I came here was to build a new NICU, to have great doctors, and to be able to really provide world-class medical care for these very fragile infants. It really was an exciting thing to build a program from scratch.
Mount Sinai's reputation in care of newborns at this point is due to Ian Holtzman. He has dedicated decades of his career to our institution and to our department in building neonatal services, and has done so hand in hand with training virtually all of the neonatologists that currently care for the children admitted to those units.
What makes a good pediatrician? I think it's somebody who truly cares about children. The reward is, in my case, making a baby better, which makes the family better and happier. You did something to help other people.
Ian Holtzman epitomizes why Mount Sinai is great. He brings a superior intellect, a great deal of enthusiasm, a capacity to work with people to make all of us better. He has represented us throughout the city and nationally in his work in neonatology.
Jacobi was the founder of pediatrics. When I got notification that I got the Jacobi Medallion Award, I realized that I was in an elite group of people. For me, it means that my peers and the people I work with respect what I do, and I'm being honored for that, and that makes it all worthwhile.
One of the great opportunities I had was I was admitted to Bronx High School of Science. I got to immerse myself in English literature and French literature, which I loved, and then I got to spend part of my day doing experiments in the lab. And so for me, medicine was always going to be about a deep interest in the humanities and an interest in people, combined with the rigor of a scientific background.
Leslie Kerr, 1985 graduate of one of our residency programs at Mount Sinai Hospital. Superb rheumatologist, fantastic teacher, enormously committed to the care of the elderly, especially the elderly where nobody else is ready to provide treatment. Where other doctors give up, she provides hope.
I've developed the Rheumatology Clinic here at Mount Sinai as a place where people with very complicated connective tissue diseases who've been shunted all over the city finally get a diagnosis or get treatment. For our older patients, function is the name of the game. You prevent the inexorable process that leads them to nursing homes and lack of independence. So being able to restore function in that age group is particularly important and rewarding for me.
Leslie Kerr, as a medical educator, is not just instructive, she is inspiring. As a clinician, Leslie maximizes the quality of life to the most complex, insoluble, underserved patients, and she succeeds. She is heroic.
I've trained to date over 30 rheumatology fellows. They're all over the country. One of the things that is unique about the course that I teach is that I have a small group session and 6 of my patients come. And I let them be the textbook. The students have already learned from me what the textbook says, but in the flesh, I think it's a much more compelling story.
She's a great role model in terms of knowledge, in terms of caring and in empathy, and also having that curious mind. And that's what makes an excellent academic physician, which she personifies.
I can't express how grateful I am for being given the Jacobi Medallion. There are days when every patient on the way out gives me a hug. We are together trying to improve their outcome and their quality of life. And when patients recognize that and appreciate that in my efforts, there's no better feeling in the world.